Do you use the internet? Well, then stick around because we're going to talk about the future of the web, also known as the spatial web. Hey guys, this is Mark Denker here, and today we're talking about the spatial web, also known as Web 3.0, the future of the internet. Many different names. This very interesting concept has been dubbed. But what is the spatial web? There is an article below that I'll make sure to link to which illustrates this beautifully. But just to paint a picture, basically today we have the World Wide Web. It's a web collected of websites. You can see it as a two-dimensional, different websites linking to each other. We have different search engines like Google and Bing and all these different search engines that made it easy for us to find these websites. But really it's two-dimensional. These different websites, they have backlinks to each other. The reason why you see Wikipedia at the top of Google's search results, for example, is because a lot of people, a lot of websites are linking to Wikipedia. So that's what the World Wide Web really is, or what it consists of today. Sure, there are videos, there are images, there are text, all these different contents that you can put on websites. But in a nutshell, it's really two-dimensional. Everything is being intertwined and connected purely and only through websites. But what is the spatial web then? Well, the spatial web adds a three-dimension or third dimension to the World Wide Web, or the internet as we know it, where it not only connects websites like we know today, but it also connects things, people, spaces, assets, all these different things. It starts to connect. So obviously there's a bit of Internet of Things here, where all these different devices that we surround ourselves with, they will start to interconnect with the internet as we know it, the websites, the web of the websites that we know. And with that, it adds a third dimension. So how do we see this third dimension? How do we see it with our own eyes? How do we experience this? Well, as I've also talked about in other videos, soon you will start to see smart glasses and smart lenses. So just like our phones became smartphones, our watches are right now becoming smartwatches. Soon, glasses like these, which are dumb, they're just normal glasses, soon they will be packed with electronics and different devices that can connect to the internet. And just like in Minority Report, all these futuristic videos, in these classes I'll be able to get notifications, directions, all these things that might be convenient for me when I'm in my daily life walking about with my glasses on. You will see the same thing with lenses, contact lenses, which will become smart lenses. So soon enough we will start to have eyewear that will connect to the internet. And when that happens, that's really where the spatial web starts to kick in, because then there's a physical third dimension that we can see. All these different screens that we surround ourselves with, they are two-dimensional right now. There's a flat screen right here in the camera, on my computer right here when I'm reading the article that I'll make sure to link to below. All this is two-dimensional, but if I'm wearing glasses that can connect to my laptop or connect to the camera, then all of a sudden you can have a third dimension coming out. And there's some very interesting technology being built by the big tech companies, all these AR, VR and MR companies that are building a layer on top of the websites and the internet that we know of today. So with conventional JavaScript, for example, I'll make sure to link to the video below by Magic Leap, Magic Universe that they've built, or Magic Verse, where they show how a normal website with some new JavaScript libraries, they can add a third dimension to the website, where this whale is coming out of the screen and all that stuff. But in order for that to happen, you need some eyewear that can really see that third dimension. You can't just see that with your naked eye. You need some device that can add that third dimension. And that's really where the spatial web is going to kick in. It's when we start, and it's only going to be a matter of time. It's not a matter of if anymore, it's a matter of when. Our glasses and contact lenses and our different eyewears, they will be packed with electronics, enabling us to have this third dimension on all the different screens and things that we see. And adding to this, and this is where the article I think gets really interesting, We talk about screens having a third dimension, but really you can have it on any device that connects to the internet that doesn't necessarily have a screen. Let's say you walk by a trash can and you don't know if the trash can is filled or not, and you really don't want to touch it, especially in these corona days where touching things is something that you should try to avoid as much as possible, especially when you're outside. Well, if you wear some glasses or smart lenses that connects to that trash can, which has a little chip in it telling on the internet how filled it is, then with your glasses you can just look at the trash can and say, okay, it's only 50% filled, just like your battery. You can see there's 50% left, and that means I can put whatever litter I have in the trash. I don't have to touch it before to check, I can just see it with my glasses. So all these different devices, that's an example of a trash can. You can think of many devices. If you walk by a street and you are looking for apartments, like in this neighborhood, you can just look at the different apartments and see, okay, is that on sale? If it's on sale, there's a little sign that it's on sale. What is the price? And all these different data points that you want to see, which you typically go home and check out, or you pull out your phone and check out today. You will just be able to see that with your glasses. And that apartment or house or whatever you're looking at doesn't have a screen, right? It just knows, because of your location, and it knows what you're looking at. It can tell you different information on that. So actually the spatial web is not only about all the different screens around us, and it's not a future where we're building screens everywhere because we need to have 3 dimensions and all that stuff. It can be also on items, assets, spaces, whatever, that has some kind of chip that can feed back to the internet. So when you go in your daily life, that information, for example the price of an apartment, you'll be able to see and feed that information into your eyewear. Obviously, if you consent to that, if you agree that you will receive that information. So that's it for now, guys, about the spatial web. We will talk way more about this. There is so much potential, and actually in the book Software is Feeding the World, right here, we are adding a 4th software tsunami to the book. Every single year we're adding a new software tsunami, and I can already tell you that the next software tsunami is going to be about the spatial web, about VR, AR and MR. That is really going to kick in when we start seeing all these different eyewears hitting the streets. So make sure to check out the book. There are already 3 software tsunamis hitting the world big time, and by December this year, 2020, we will come up with the 4th software tsunami about the spatial web. So thank you for listening, guys. If you found this interesting, make sure to subscribe, and of course I'd love to hear your comments below if there's anything you feel like that I missed out. But until then, guys, I will see you for the next one.